My family is Christian. That's always a fun topic to bring up with people too, because like they'll see me eat a pepperoni pizza and they'll be like, "Hey man, like you're not allowed to eat that, right?" And I'm like, "Why can't I eat it?" And they're like, "Well, because you're like, because religion, right?" And I'm like, well, what do you think I am? They all automatically assume I'm Muslim. I'm like, no, actually, like I grew up Christian, right? I no longer subscribe to a religion, but like I grew up Christian. And like, oh, when did you convert? No, my family's from Bethlehem. Like my whole family's Christian. Like, oh, right on, cool. Like when did they convert? And I'm like, when you guys were pagans in Europe, man, like, and to watch the confusion in their face that like, when I'm like, no, we were OG Christians. Like my family's like literally right, like from Bethlehem. Um, so that's always fun to watch. Americans' brains like, no, that can't that can't be possible. Um, so yeah, so then like, all right, so 9/11 happens, and then it was a clear. I mean, the next day, like the bullying started, the racism started, which was interesting to me that it didn't start on 9/11 because again, I was 11 years old, I was in sixth grade. Kids had to go home, speak to their parents. The parents had to explain to them what is happening in our country, and then they learned the hate. Then they learned the next day when they saw me, oh, this is your fault. Oh, like oh, your dad's Osama bin Laden. Um, Things I heard the next day, right? So it just goes to show like another one of those things like racism is taught. My dad had several convenience stores in the St. Louis North County area in St. Louis. And we had people who would walk in and be like, ask us, and we employed Americans. Like it wasn't a family run business that only had like the cousins and the uncles and like us were like, no, we pretty much exclusively employed other Americans. And we'd have you walk in the store and be like, is this store Arab owned? And our, you know, American employee would be like, yeah. And they'd walk right out. And so, yeah, it was, that was the start of, you know, I'm never really fully American. I'm always Arab too. And that always kind of comes with this weird sense of like, I have to prove my loyalty or patriotism to America, um, more so than the average American does because of my ethnicity. And I was a Marine and I still have to do that. Like, that's something and jokingly, right, sometimes, had to do in the Marine Corps. I was an officer in the Marine Corps and I still, dealt with that sometimes. Um, Not necessarily like not as much in the military. We tease each other a lot in the military. That's like just a cultural thing. But yeah, despite the fact that I wore the uniform, to some people I still have to prove that my criticism sometimes of America, whether it is cultural or political or whatever it is, right, which everybody has their 2 cents, their opinion on it, isn't inherently rooted in anti-Americanism. I think it's something that like not just me, but other Arabs have to like go through on a daily basis.